Hey friends, welcome back for Vlogmas Day 5. In today's video, I am sharing how to start cash stuffing using the cash envelope system. Now, if you're new here, you're probably interested in the cash envelope system, maybe some cash stuffings, or just how to create a cash budget. There are a lot of cash budgeters on YouTube and videos showing you the money being put into those envelopes, but you're probably still confused on what is what, how many binders you need, or even how much needs to go into each envelope. So if you're new here, my name is Shadavia, and on my channel I do talk about all things money, budgeting, and savings related. So if that's content you're into, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, but don't forget that notification bell so you don't miss the next time I post. Now today I'm going to be showing you just how easy it is to start cash stuffing once you get the hang of it. So I started my personal cash envelopes journey at the beginning of January of 2022, and once I figured out what my priorities were or my savings goal, it made it a lot easier to determine what categories I needed. So something to just keep in mind, less is sometimes more, so you don't need a million different binders or envelopes. But if you do choose to have that, that is perfectly fine. You just want to make sure that you're picking the categories that fits your lifestyle and your goals are realistic. So the first thing that you need to do to start cash stuffing is you need to create a budget. So without a budget, how else would you know how much to cash stuff? You have to start there. So you know how much money you have left over to actually put into your cash envelopes. So I did bring over my budget with me, or my budget breakdown from my last paycheck. And this just shows you guys how I pick my personal numbers. So the first thing that I do is my budget. So I wrote down my bills here. So I have my mortgage, insurance, and phone that I take care of. And then I also leave an amount for a buffer in my account. So this is important because we have those bills that kind of slip up on us, or we just have unexpected expenses. So we want to make sure that we're still leaving some money into our account. It doesn't have to be as much as I put on this check, but we just need to have it be something. So if yours is $20, yours is $50, whatever it is, just make sure that you're leaving a buffer in your checking account for those unexpected expenses. So on this check, since I am paid bi-weekly, this is more of my free check per se. And so on this check, I only needed to budget out for, outside of these bills, just one additional bill, which was my car note. And so I budgeted down my $249 for my car note, and then it left me with $751. Now that I have all my bills taken care of, and again, these would normally be filled in with numbers if they were due, but since I have 3 paychecks this month, these bills are already taken care of from my last check. So $751, then I get to decide where I'm gonna put this extra money or this leftover money. So I personally have cash envelopes, a savings, and then I've recently added some debt payments. So if you want to break down your budget this way as well, I have multiple budget with me videos, and I kind of explain my thought process behind it as well. But with the $750, I did decide on what my priority was. And so being on a low income budget, I really prioritize savings. I want to have a nice amount saved up, just in case things happen, or just to be able to say like, hey, I have a nice savings, and then also working towards that goal of being financially free. So some of my envelopes that I budget for are groceries, gas, household, self-care, and family fun. So with these envelopes, these are what I consider my variable expenses. So variable expenses meaning these categories, the amount that I'm putting into these envelopes could fluctuate, but these are the different things that I spend money on, either on a daily or a weekly basis. So not things like, I personally choose not to cash stuff my bills, but I know some people do. I just prefer to leave that in account. So this week I'm putting $100 for groceries But let's say, you know, I notice that groceries are going up and I want to increase that to $150 or $200. Then I have the option to do that. So it just depends on whatever this leftover number is here, determines how much I'm able to put into these envelopes. Now, since I do, again, prioritize savings, the way that I start my budget is I start here first. So I decide how much I'm gonna put into my savings. So you see on this paycheck, I put a lot towards savings. So I put $364 towards my 100 envelope challenge. I put $50 away for emergency fund. And then I have $53 that I put towards my sinking funds as well. So I kind of take care of these categories first. And then I say, okay, once I have these taken care of, then I can budget out for this. Like some of these bills too, and you will learn once you start your cash envelope system, what amounts work for each envelope. If you know that you guys spend, you know, $200 per week, then you probably want to start at $200 here so that you're not putting in $100 and then now you're over budget because you spent an additional $100. So just be realistic with your goals amount, and then kind of take a look at how you normally spend your money as well. And then, like I said, the last one is debt payment. So I'm still crawling my way out of debt, and $32 is not going to get me there, but it's something better than nothing. But once I do my budget, then I take a piece of paper and I just write down my cash denominations so I can give it to the teller. So the way that I do my denominations is that I determine of this bottom section here, what do I actually need cash for? So what envelopes get cash stuff? My savings are in my high yield savings account, so I don't take the cash out for these, or my debt. So it's just the cash that I'm using for these envelopes here. If you choose to hold your savings into a cash envelope binder, then you're more than welcome to do so. Again, this is just my personal way of doing things, and I choose not to have the savings, all of my savings in a binder. I'm gonna say that. So for example, groceries is at $100. So what I'll do is, I know sometimes I go to the grocery store multiple times, right? So I'm gonna break down those denominations based on how much I can spend. So what I usually do for groceries, I'll put 150, I'll do 2 20s, and then I'll do a 10. And that way, if I do the bulk of my grocery shopping first, and then I still need to go to the store to get small items, then I have the denominations kind of already broken down versus doing 250s or doing $100 bill and then just kind of working from there. That's how it works for me. I do the same thing with my gas. Instead of doing a $50 and a $10 bill, I know sometimes my gas is $50 or $55, so I'll break it down to 150, 15, and then 5 ones. That way, if my gas does come out to be $56, then I don't have to break an entire 10 just to get the difference, if that makes sense. So that's how I break down my denominations, and then I just head over to the bank, and then I go to the teller. Well, I actually go to the drive-through. I hand them this along with my identification and my debit card, and then they give me the funds out of my account, and that's pretty much it. That's how I know exactly how much of each bill, I guess, to take out. So when it comes to 50s, 20s, 10s, 5s, and 100s, and these are going to be put again into these cash envelopes here. So the big thing is that with being on a low income, like creating a budget, you are able to still save money, and I just showed you guys how. So in my budget with me, I do this every single payday, so I know exactly how much money that I have to work with. Now your categories may be a little different just based off of your lifestyle, but I do also have a second binder. So I have a total of 2 binders, and the other binder is for my sinking fund, which takes care of my future expenses. So those are expenses that I have multiple months to save up for till I reach my goals. So something that would be in my sinking fund binder is like a vacation. That's not something that I'm just gonna put in my everyday binder, because although I would like to, I'm not going on vacation every single day. I'm actually going to be saving up month over month to eventually be able to take that vacation. So keep that in mind when you're doing your sinking funds, and also prioritize as well. Like what's important to you may not be important to me, and vice versa. So just keep those things in mind when you're setting up your different categories. It's not something that you have to just make sure it stays the same all the time, because our lifestyle changes. Things in our life differ. So you may pick up a shopping habit and want to add a shopping envelope, or you may no longer have a coffee habit and you want to take that out. So as life is changing, you may need to readjust your budget categories or your cash envelopes as well. But that's pretty much the basic of it. Like again, I said, you just need to determine what's important for you, and then just break those down into your preferred categories that work for you and your family. Now, your cash envelopes, like your variable expenses, you will actually be using these again on a weekly or a daily basis. Sinking funds are going to be those expenses that are going to come in the future for you, so you have time to save for them. And then again, I just have my two. So I have this one, and then if you guys watch any of my previous videos, I have one for my sinking funds that I like to keep as well. So I think when you're starting out, 1 or 2 binders is good, and you can easily get one of these on Amazon. It doesn't come customized, but they do have a lot of different colors, and you can just start from there. If you don't have the funds to even get a binder like this from Amazon, you can go to the Dollar Tree. So don't let that be the reason that you're not using the cash envelope method, or you're not cash stuffing, because again, you can go to Dollar Tree and get some everyday envelopes and start labeling them with whatever categories that you want to start with. So we all have to start from somewhere. So don't feel, again, just because you're not able to buy a nice envelope or buy a nice binder that you have to start. Like, you can't start. You most certainly can. You just have to have the will and the want to do so. And that just brings me to my next point. If you guys are trying the cash envelope system or just cash stuffing, and you just feel like it doesn't work for you, well, we have to self-reflect as well. Like, nothing's gonna work unless you put the effort into it, unless you put the time into it. And budgeting, cash stuffing, and saving money, finances, all that requires a lot of discipline. You have to learn when to say no. You have to learn when to cut back, and you just really need to like self-reflect and have to be realistic with setting yourself up for success. Don't set yourself a goal that's not attainable for you, or don't set something or a restriction on your budget where you know that you're going to be tempted to buy it or bust your budget. So again, if you have a coffee habit or you like to go to Starbucks, just put money aside to go to Starbucks. It's not the end of the world. But if you find that with your budget, you're not budgeting for Starbucks, and then you just keep going and going, those Starbucks are definitely going to be adding up. So just make sure you guys are keeping all that stuff in mind when you're coming up with these different categories and setting up your cash envelope binder. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys found this video super helpful. If you made it this far, let me know one variable expense or one sinking fund that you have and why you feel that it's important. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I respond to every single comment. I love interacting with you guys. But again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so as well. Don't forget that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in my budget book breakdown tomorrow. Bye.